This one flat top break. It failed initially though. Probably pushed a lot of people out, but did find support at 1875, and there it is into the high of the day at 2040, or just about the high of the day. 2065 is the high. Poet in focus, and FRMI was almost a buy well, it was a buy program. Clean move up, but it did dip down, held 7 nicely, and here it is trying to make 7.5 moves. So FRMI was also another one today, and so was LESL. We had multiple trades on this one into 475. I had a bias that this one was going to hit 5, got pretty close. We were involved in this one from the late 2s, early 3s. So this was a very good trading day for us today, despite the fact that we weren't able to catch the full move on Cerebras. We ended up getting a little bit there on the move back up, but nothing really doing there. All right, we're a minute over time. Joey's at his desk. Neil is ready. They're going to take you through the afternoon show. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care, guys.
Yeah, you're always ready.
Okay,
So
we're ready.
Now we ready.
A lot of people asked, the quote I put in the chat, which I suppose I need to explain away, was the IPO somehow simultaneously was great, sucked, and is sucking right now. And to try to, and then someone said, well, yeah, but Neil, did you make money on it? All right. I actually did pretty well on it. Like, let's be real, more than I made any point in a single day this year. That being said, it sucked. Like, it sucked a lot, and like I probably left a decent chunk on the table because of the nature of how. Because of the but it's, trust me when I tell you, it sucked. I don't want to get into. I won't get into the nuances of, trying to trail out after the reopen on the halt, and the amount of slippage that existed, and then be like, okay, I'm gonna hold on to like 5% and see how that goes, and then maybe I'll be able to punch back. There's just a lot that was trying to do at the 340, which I suppose in theory would have worked if I put the whole. I was just like, when I got that slippage, I was like, what am I doing holding on to any of this? There's no liquidity. I just said, I don't care. I probably gave too much back. Now, the other reason why it sucked is I paid for locates to short this, and I'll put my hand up. I actually paid for locates 3x the amount that I took long. Yet you won't see any shorts on here, and I don't particularly want to chase the move. So I always try to say that there's more to. Trading is about making money. So made a bunch of money, should be happy. But evaluating your trading is about evaluating your decision making and your execution, and whether you followed your plan, and whether you could have or should have done better.
Yeah.
Right? So the end goal met, but the actual execution of it, some kinks need to get worked out. Because I feel like if I trade like this, when SpaceX comes around, that could be problematic. I'll leave way too much on the table. So anyways, we're working some things out. The stock is absolutely tanking. When I went to the bathroom, because they always wait too long to open these things up, I came back in the market, I was like, what the hell happened to the market? What are we doing here? Because all of a sudden we look weak, and the crypto moves was going crazy, and then we rebounded, and now we're headed back in. On an IPO day, understandably, you guys have probably seen this before, when there is a big one, you expend a lot of your mental capital for that trade. I knew going into it, it was going to be the biggest trade. It's from a risk standpoint for myself up until this point this year. I'm still, as I'm saying this to you, I'm pretty pissed off with myself. I don't usually get that way, but it's like I don't care that I made money. I really executed poorly on this, and I should probably unpack that a little bit more. I don't usually do this, but it looks like these are great fills and all this stuff, but I actually only covered 20% in that high, that's just not how I would roll. Like, I'm in the money $35.
I know,
and I did not take that much out. And then when it was tapping lower, it put me on the spot to then take a lot out right here. So I literally gave up like $15 on a lot of shares, which is uncharacteristic. It's not how I roll. And just to prove to you, everybody gets greed and FOMO. And I had some greed and FOMO. I had some greed and FOMO there. But
I'm sitting in the same boat. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I left 100, or 99.9% of the money that I had unrealized off the table. So I locked in nothing. It's true because I didn't execute well. Why? I've seen multiple occasions. One, I didn't put my limit order. I talked about taking some out at 370. Didn't do that. Watched it halt at 380, and then when it halted again, and I seen the tap continuously dropping, I didn't put a limit on open to sell. So there's just so many things that I see.
But you know what? This is practice for SpaceX, man. Like,
yeah, it is.
We
Like,
hammer these things out so when SpaceX happens, we're ready.
Like, what am I even doing not taking anything off $35 in the money? From what I put on size-wise, that would have been my best trade of all time here. But that's what-if history.
One thing, if you're trading one of these, remember when it hits the halt band, you have 15 seconds with which it can only go down, or it's going to halt.
Yeah.
What you can do, and this is for anybody out there. Well, I don't care that I'm giving.
I watched the halt
I don't care
band.
that I'm giving away something that some traders will do. That's fine. Some people get pissed off when you do that. I'm like, whatever. What else am I going to talk about?
Yeah.
You can throw a tight, because you might have your stop order from when it opens. You can throw a tight stop order at that price, which basically says this: if it halts, I'm holding. Do the halt. If it goes into a false halt, my stop is going to trigger the second it prints, because it can only print down or halt. So you can protect a false halt in that 15 seconds. The other thing you can do is you can hit the bid.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can decide, oh, okay, I'm being an idiot. I haven't taken enough out. I'll just take some more out. That's because I decided to do that. I just didn't decide to do it for enough. But that's two things that you can do when you're at that halt band. The other thing I want to get to is when I got up to go to the bathroom, I went to Brennan, man. I go, this stock feels like we just made it. It just made us it just made the market a temporary high. Thank you to Cerebras, or whatever we're supposed to call it, how you're going to pronounce it. Although I said I pronounced it the right way if I made money, so Cerebras, I believe is how you say it. It's the kind of thing that makes me feel like we've made a market top. This was priced this week at 115 on Monday.
Yeah.
And then by last night, it was 150 to 160. I think it was settling at the 150. Overnight, 185. Opens up at 350 and still halts up. It reminds me so much of Snowflake that made a high at that point, Coinbase, which was stupidity, RIVN, which was insanity, and then all came back in and fell back in. So that's where I'm sort of feeling about this. It's not quite Figma, but it's not unlike Figma.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And Circle was a big one too. Circle was a lot of fun.
Circle too.
Circle was a good one there. So yeah, I mean, it is good learning lesson. I mean, they don't happen too often. We can capitalize next time. That's the thing. I'm not sweating about it whatsoever. What is meant to be, man, is meant to be. So next time I know, I won't try to take any shortcuts. I'll put those orders out because I can put those limit on order sells right above. Actually, no. Can I even do that? So say on this. This is a good question because now we can have this conversation. So say I limit on open at $500. Can I limit on sell at like different price points throughout that?
You mean when it's halted? Are we talking about?
No, like just like shortly after the open. So like boom, I limit on open $500. Right, as my limit price.
Print.
Right, get the opening print. Boom, I'm in. But while I'm waiting for it to open, can I set those limit sells? Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I didn't think so.
You're sitting there waiting for it to open, and then once it opens, you set. Yeah, you're acting after it opens.
Yeah, you have to wait until after it opens. Yeah, I figured so.
It would be nice if you could do something like that.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
if there are other questions, you guys can throw questions.
Yeah,
about
throw
this
questions, man. We'll talk all about it. These guys are a bit more experienced. Not a bit. Significantly more experienced than I am on
Always short circle above 135.
Oh, okay.
Why are we saying that? I'm not doubting you, but I just...
Do you want anything? I'm going to warm up my lunch. How was the lunch, by the way? No, I've seen a lot of people throwing it in the garbage.
It was... There's something... I don't know how to explain.
Maybe I won't.
What I said to Adair about the lunch is it was entirely too much sauce, yet somehow the chicken was still dry, which is a combination that doesn't actually make sense. You put it was very strange. It's like they overcooked it and then drowned it in sauce.
What the hell is even that?
Oh,
Rob is having.
I thought he wanted a legit. Remember, he's just having fun with us there.
Rob's playing with measuring tape like he's.
Yeah, Rob. I'm just gonna go. I mean,
if you're an alien that hasn't seen measuring tape before, or a child, you're allowed to play with measuring tape. If you're a grown ass man. I'm just playing with. Yeah. No, Rob's like, I never claimed to be a grown-ass man.
Yeah, Jesse. Oh, that's a good one. He's measuring the boys' patience. That's a good one. No, but someone said you're going hungry today. I'm like, trust me, here you do not go hungry because there is an abundance of food.
There's tons of food.
I had four. I had four of the samosas this morning, and then some fruit and a couple of teas. So my belly is full. I got to run this evening. How many did you have? See, I like those, man. So yeah, so we got to run this evening as well. So we'll barbecue. I got the barbecue running up on the weekend. Even though I used to be a 365er, I'd barbecue all year round, but not this time. Not this year. I didn't.
This is Canada.
You bought barbecue 365, man.
Hell no, no. The opposite. This is Canada. You're not barbecuing in February, okay? When it's minus 20 outside, you ice out the walls.
You gotta understand, I live in a condo, so it's just like you step out the balcony and it's like 2 feet.
I used to live in a condo too.
And you never barbecued in that?
Not when it's minus 20. Oh, no, Joe. And you're West Indian too. You should.
I'm all about it, but I need to get that.
You've got
Whoa,
West Indian.
John Roberts, that's crazy.
What happened, John?
I don't understand why you gotta be like that, my guy.
John! Wow, it's like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Look, you can say whatever you want. I'm just keeping it real. I don't like the cold. I might be Canadian.
I don't like the cold either, but I like barbecued food enough for me to step in there.
I have a question.
Yeah. What's up?
Because obviously I was really occupied with what was going on. I didn't even trade other crap. It's just I was occupied with this IPO for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
What happened to TDIC?
It's a good one.
See now, while you're waiting around for the IPO to open, this thing really just flat bottom break and drop from $16 to $1.50? Well, I guarantee you it's not free locates. I don't have my flat bottom break thing, but that's your trade of the day. What is that? But this is the problem with these things, okay? You know this can happen. And it's all exuberance on the way up. Just always understand that when you have got one of these, make sure that you pay yourself. It's no different from when I'm talking about the IPO. You've just got to make sure that you pay yourself on a trade. I had a mentor when I started out, or many. I mean, you learn from a million different people, but there was one in particular. And one of the things that he said to me, which always resonated, is when you are right, or you have a good idea, or you have a good entry, and you do something right, you need to make sure that you pay yourself from it. One of the things he would say was, you'd be surprised how often a trader is dead right about something, or has a perfect entry, or has the best trade, all this kind of stuff, and then at the end of the day, they don't even make money on it because they fumble the execution or get greedy. So you've got to be careful. That's also why I'm overly critical of myself in every single trade. If you do really well, but you think you left 70% of the profits on the table on a trade, you shouldn't be that happy with yourself, in my opinion. I can't be. So I'm going to start looking for things to trade this afternoon. Is Intel really just in the same range from this morning? Got 115 to 117, and it just went 115 to 117 again. Why is my 15-minute chart on Intel as if nothing has happened all day? But it's going up now, so maybe there's a little bit of something there. Yeah. Now we can find some longs. You really barbecue in the middle of December.
Yeah, I didn't. I told you I didn't in 2025, but I will be in 2026. I did all the time. I just always liked barbecuing, right? Just my proteins and stuff like steaks, burgers.
I love barbecue too.
Just because the weather brings us down a little bit, Neil, doesn't mean we should change up our palate over here. You know what I mean?
I aspire to be like you and not hate the cold.
Just because it's on terrible weather, and it doesn't mean I don't deserve a burger fresh off the barbecue in the middle of January or something, you know.
I don't want a burger.
Or a jerk, or some jerk on there. You let it season that stuff and then throw that jerk on there, man. It's good stuff, man.
So how about BE today?
Yeah, BE new all-time highs. That one's looking good. There's a lot of positive things here today. I mean, we have Bloom Energy hitting that. We had NVDA not too far off of that level. We're talking about what's going on with Apple. Recovers relatively strong. Google, I mean, Watch tomorrow continue this climb. AMD not really participating, but we know what was going on with that. But there's some other names that were really strong in regards to this Clarity Act and can benefit that. That's going to be Robinhood. Robinhood putting in a half decent session here, Neo. There's still a lot that we need to get through in order for us to find a full-on recovery in this name. It's unfortunate because I should have took a little bit more off. I believe I sold some at 29s or something along those lines, and then I bought more at 22s, which is, I mean, it's $7 difference from what I sold it off, but then I'm just sitting because I averaged up heavily in this one and sold the bulk of my position and then bought some more. I'm relatively flat on this investment right now. This isn't even a trade, this is an investment from someone who bought it in early April after the tariff tantrum, after I was reading through their earnings reports, and you've seen that triple-digit growth across the board within options activity. You had gold memberships continuing to climb and so much positivity going for this name, but then you just slowly start to slide as Bitcoin started to tumble as well. So we have Robinhood heading towards a key level. This could be a good potential play leading into tomorrow. And then we're also going to be looking at Coin. I think Coinbase, if we get an open up around 212, Clarity Act, more crypto positivity, then sure enough, off to the races we can go. But this is another name alongside the crypto space that is just absolutely getting destroyed, rightfully so. It's weird because I don't know what it is, but I mean, this isn't really justifying what I was about to get to, but typically in downtrends is when we see volatility uptick. So therefore, there's a wider variance within price action. With wider variance tends to come more volatility, and with that being said comes more volume. But yet when there's more volume and things are continuing to slide, some of the exchanges lose money, which I don't know how, that doesn't really make sense to me. I don't quite understand that yet. So yeah, I don't know if you understand what I'm getting at there, Neil. But yeah, that's how I feel. I find it's weird, a weird inverse correlation there, in my opinion.
I can see you on that. I find with all of this crypto news, the news cycle anyways, it can be a little bit easy to get away from like the overall theme of where we're at with Bitcoin in general. Like, it's like, how optimistic do I want to be about the bill passing?
Yeah.
If it still feels like we're in not a very bullish cycle on Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, okay, like good, but is this not a place where you're being extremely patient, maybe we're more excited next year? Like, I still have that in the back of my mind because I haven't done ish with Bitcoin. I'm like, I'll probably make a decision with this in 2027 whether I want.
Yeah.
I just feel like we had our good rally, and I was like, I'm gonna wait till 50, or I'm gonna buy in the back half of the year at earliest. It never got to 50, and so now I'm just kind of waiting for the back half.
Yeah.
Of the year. Maybe the Clarity Act should be a reason that I should put something in, but I'm not there yet because I'm still sort of thinking about the cycle more.
Yeah, I think that's really important, right? The halving cycle coming up in 2028.
And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I'm simplistic.
How do we feel about some of these larger Bitcoin miners who were all about that, spending all of this money, but now starting to shift over into neocloud businesses? Right? So like, what if they're not mining as much? I don't know if that's going to have any form of an impact. I think that's something to take into consideration. But I mean, because Bitcoin's price isn't performing that well, do you see that transition back into more Bitcoin mining? Like, what is more profitable? And that's a simple question to be answered right now, is that the neocloud business and cloud storage is significantly more profitable than mining Bitcoin at this point. So will we see that flip back? What is the halving cycle going to do for us? As Neil was mentioning not too long ago, we still have another year and a half or so until we fall into that neck of the woods. And what is going to happen in year 3? I mean, listen, this asset could, this group exactly, can just absolutely skyrocket. It has to be led by Bitcoin, in my opinion. But I mean, in a month or so, if something gains ground, some form of catalyst steps in, you can really see Bitcoin start to gain some ground as the NASDAQ is putting in all-time highs, and yet we're still down 40% off of the ATH on Bitcoin.
Because I like this. The only recent crypto adjacent buy I've made recently was Robinhood.
Okay.
And see here, like the end of PDT on June 5 could be another catalyst for Hood, Coin, etc. Even if it's well known, Bull stands to benefit more, I think. Maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe they do. I'm out of Webull and not really thinking about
why would Webull stand
I
to
don't know
benefit more?
I don't know that that's necessarily true. It would just, so you have to look at it. So if the PDT rule going away is going to increase just retail trading volumes in general, it's like, who is more funneled towards that being a benefit to them? Like, is it?
Yeah.
It's just more directly focused on Webull than it is directly. Robin has way more other fast, their hands in the cookie jar everywhere.
Yeah,
so yes,
exactly.
it helps them, but it helps X% of their business, and it helps 2X% of the business for Webull. I can get behind that. I just don't like Webull as much. I like the fact that I'm getting more out of Robinhood.
I agree. I agree on that.
I just don't wonder, like, so because you can be in a Robinhood, which stands to win a couple of ways, why do we need to be in Bitcoin? Anyways, there's something happening on Intel, and I have not been able to find the story. Dara's not back at her desk. Daryl gets her desk. Remember, everything is on an IPO day. Everything always changes. People eat later, all that kind of stuff. But I've not seen anything hit the wire. There's a huge volume spike, and we're seeing a little bit of follow through. And I was hesitating whether I wanted to buy VWAP until I actually saw what was going on here with Intel, because I don't want to be blind with this. There's not a ton happening outside of the crypto names, really, but this seems like it's moving around a bit. Okay, so it looks like there's a report. Apple has initiated projects at their 18AP Foundry. So that would be good news. We already know that Apple's in at this point. We know they already got Apple. We know that there's a real good chance that NVIDIA is going to be on board, and that's going to be a huge long-term business for this. What everyone was asking for. Everyone was asking for Intel to line up some big-time customers. All of that said, you can't really argue with the fact that Intel hasn't done much. I came in thinking 15 holds, you're going to have yourself in a long opportunity. And really, it was just the 115 holding. You could have just gone over and over again. Probably not as good as the IPO, but it would have been pretty good still. But this is a very much a cumulative day for Intel in a downtrend. It's accumulation back into a prior high in a bit of a downtrend off the high. So tomorrow looks pretty binary again. Either it holds 115 and we go for another try for the jaunts, or we lose it and I'm thinking short and pull back into 110. For now, let's maybe think about the volume weighted average price, because it's this or crypto I'm thinking this afternoon.
For a potential continuation? I mean,
no, just for any trade. Like, what else?
Trade?
Intel individually is moving, and then you have everything crypto related, which has real volatility.
I mean, I took a couple attempts on the short side here on IBIT, and then just with the catalyst, it's just like, you know what? It's the more difficult trade. We're fortunate enough that it worked out for us on the 2 attempts, and we got out exactly when we were supposed to, because imagine just holding from this initial short. It never comes back to that level, and there's a steady uptrend here. You can just consistent higher lows there, Neil. So I mean,
you got it twice. Nice.
I got it twice, yeah. So I was in there, outbreak, trail stop there, and then I was in again. I got a little bit more of a move, and then trailed stop my last little bit just before the break even there. But yeah, I mean, and that's what I was saying for quite some time. I'm like, I just don't know how much of a continuation we're gonna get. And then look at this squeeze right here. Look at the volume really start to uptick. So absorbs liquidity, just gets a bunch of the other longs out, boom, and then off to the races it goes. So not too bad of a look. And then we were talking about Robinhood here today as well, guys. Let's pull that bad boy up and see what we got going on HOOD. Yeah, I know some people in the chat saying Robinhood's done. Robinhood's done. I don't think that's necessarily the case.
I'm feeling temp high on a lot of stuff right now.
Temp high?
Temporary high. Thank you, Cerebras, for signaling a bit of a temporary top. Cerebras.
Whatever, man. Tomato. You do. I'm gonna have to caveat that. I think that NVDA continues to climb. I mean, Google's just about there too. I think in some of the plays like CoreWeave, maybe that might be a little bit more of a difficult play.
NVIDIA's probably fine.
NVDA's fine.
I'm thinking more like Intel, SanDisk, AMD, Micron, like just the stuff that's already gone parabolic. I think that's more where my
same. That's what I think too. Like obviously the SanDisk, the Microns, the AMDs, as you just mentioned, the Intels of the world. I tend to agree with that one. And I like some people say, John, it's time to buy Robinhood. Listen, Neil and I were talking about it this morning. I mean, when things are really unpopular, I think, and there's blood in the street and everybody starts to kind of panic and worry about them, that could be a good potential time to get involved. Like, we're talking about Microsoft, the third largest company here on the planet, or fourth maybe now if it's losing market share to Google, and then there'd be Apple and NVDA. So you're sitting in that fourth slot. There's a reason it's up there. I think at some point it's going to be a recovery. And if you're looking at a stock that's still down 27%, then sure enough, there it is. You have Microsoft in the exact same thing there with Meta. So Meta has a couple of headwinds in front of it. Once that weight is lifted off their shoulder, just like it was in the case of Google and Apple and the antitrust, in the fact that, like, hey, you guys might have to decouple. They wanted the de-investment from to diverge from the search as well with Google. So there was a lot of things, and then look what happened when that came to a conclusion, and the judge essentially ruling in their favor. Look what happened to not only Apple, but to Google as well, to all-time high, all-time high, all-time high. So I think that's going to be the narrative with Microsoft or with Meta.
We got Robbie here.
What's up, Robbie?
The super chat's in Canadian dollars, so I'm going to make an assumption that I know to be true. Robbie Kele. AMAT and FIG earnings report after market close today. Can I get your guys' input? By the way, you guys are OGs, best in the game, best show. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
I'll tell you this much: what makes this the best show is it's collectivism is the wrong word. It's the collective, man. It's the different perspectives. It's the community. It's all of it brought together. That's why in my opinion, it gets better and better, because the community keeps growing. And the whole, we get more diverse with the hosts. Like now we have Joe and Sharif, where we didn't before, and we've got Adara on the team as well. And it's been fantastic, and we appreciate you. I'll get this one out of the way. I never mean to be critical of AMAT, and I'm not. I think it's great. I have a preference to ASML and a preference to Lam over AMAT. Like, it's, you know, the guys that make the stuff, that make machines that make the chips. If things go well in China, nobody benefits more than ASML out of that group. That's just a fact. So they have a lot at stake. But you can't really complain with AMAT. AMAT's been very stair-step upside. This is the kind of name where it's not overtly parabolic, that if we get the same old, well, we're not terribly impressed with this, despite the fact that they're going to have good numbers, the dip can, on trend, be more confidently bought, because you're not talking about a parabolic move the same way into earnings that some of the others have, right? Like, if this pulls back 10%, it's going right into support, like directly into prior support. It's not breaking it down, and it hasn't run up a bajillion % in the days leading to it. Like, it's kind of crested a little bit. Figma, you know what? It's just, AMAT, I've traded, I've owned AMAT in the past. I do not anymore. Like, years and years ago, I owned AMAT, and I just happened to, like I said, like ASML better, so now I own that. Figma, I don't want any part of it. I think there's a tremendous amount of just relief rally potential here, but I'll believe it when I see it. For Figma, this is maybe the example of one of the single worst, best IPOs I've ever seen. It was maybe the most epic day trading IPO ever, yet somehow the biggest rug pull that has also existed. Like, it's complete insanity. Not just because the thing about Figma is Cerebras went up and then is going to close at the low. Like, this thing closed at the highs on day one and then was trying to make higher highs after that. And then it has just been destroying everybody ever since. It's yet to prove that it's made a low. Could this be the bottom? Sure. And wake me up when it's over the 50 period and breaking out. Look at the 50 period moving average since it's mattered.
Or when September ends.
It's gotten above. It has failed. So break it, failed, fail breakout.
Yeah.
Break, can't even get to the high to retest it. It's not even trying. When it succeeds, boom, then you got to swing long. Otherwise, I don't care what the report says when you've got this kind of a downward trend. Like, to me, AMAT has strong numbers and proved to me that demand is not going to be a concern going forward and all that blah, 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 and make sure margins are holding up really well. As long as that's the case, if they dip it, if it sells, a good company, you'd buy it. I would say the same thing about ASML, but not with Figma. All right, so I'm now starting to realize Bitcoin is not really moving the way that I thought. And
Starting to come back in a little.
it's not moving.
Yeah.
So maybe it isn't a thing this afternoon. I'm just looking for something to trade here.
Yeah, I know. I hear you on that one too. Maybe the NVDA break of the high of the day. It looks like it's heading in towards that neck of the woods. Los Pollos, my guy. NYC, great Green Day reference. Thanks, NYC, Urbanista. Los Pollos, brother. It took us a couple of attempts to get this one going, but look how patient we were. Credits where credits due, I guess. But anyways, aside from that, is like you take that one shot at 11:05, you take half off, get stopped out, break even, and then we don't take another attempt until an hour and 40 minutes later. And then even so, but it would have been nicer to go with the trend on this, but there was a couple of high quality opportunities that I wanted to try and take advantage of, and that was there on the potential shorts. I'll show you what we had going on here. So it was... At this level, there was a couple inverted hammer candles. I'm like, oh, okay, let's get involved here. This was going to be number one. Didn't break the high. We got that little move, but then established a new one. And I was saying that as we were taking these positions, we have to be cautious on the fact of considering the Clarity Act and the crypto space moving today, that these pullbacks aren't going to be relatively deep. And you can see how shallow they were before they made a continuous leg higher. So multiple legs to the top side in Bitcoin, not too bad of a play. So our better position here was this trade specifically, that IBIT dual short, and then also we had on TSLL. TSLL was a good one. Let's get over here. It took us 2 times to get this one really working for us, attempt number one, and I often talk about buying the top end of the range, and on the breakout doesn't work, but we get right back in at the lower end of the range, and we are fortunate enough to catch this trend all the way up, and then we get out. We should have got out at the break of the volume weighted average price there, but we had nothing, small potatoes. I was going to leave it on for a runner for you guys just to do so, but then there was TSLL, and then also we had a slower start on ONDS. Right? Like you gotta take into consideration the way we kicked off the session was 1 for 3, shooting at a 33% clip rate. Actually, even less because we took that next Tesla trade. So we were 1 for 4 at some point, shooting at 25%. And then we take this one more trade, and then that's what put us green. And then we were fortunate enough to take another attempt on IBIT that worked out for us. And then we a little coffee change there on CBRS.
Sometimes you gotta grit your teeth and just get back in.
You do, yeah. I had to get back in on that levels at the low. I mean, that's what I was saying before. It's just like this first entry, I'm in at the top end of the range. If I was patient for literally another 60 seconds, I would have seen that selling step in, and then I would have been able to get a better price at the lower end, anyways. But we just hopped back in and we were fortunate.
Behold, I only have a little bit left, so I'm gonna leave the break-even stop in.
Yeah.
Instead of the trend break.
Yeah, exactly.
We do have to get to the super chat, and then I gotta throw something out here for a viewer because they made a nice comment. Honcho, thoughts on CAD and TTW?
Ooh.
Okay, so how I feel about Caterpillar is I love Caterpillar. Full disclosure, Caterpillar is now 1A of my largest tech, non-tech holdings, I should say. I guess it's kind of tech.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's the power generators or whether it's the fact that you're just not building data centers without them, or the fact that the world keeps on destroying stuff so that they keep needing to build stuff, and Caterpillar wins in many, many ways. And it's a pretty sneaky AI play just internally for efficiencies themselves. So I am an enthusiastic trend dip buyer on this. I don't care about a 3-minute because you're probably not into that. That said, it's a little different. Remember we were just talking about AMAT? I think it's got a little bit of disconnect where the next pullback could be a little sharper from what I've seen or from what it looks like. I wouldn't be surprised if it had the next pullback be 10, 15%. But the uptrend is tremendous. Like I'm not a buyer up here. I'm more of a, okay, well, if I'm looking to add to the position, I'll probably wait for a retest. But like the next market dip, this is one of the stocks I always try to pick up. When it comes to, as for Take Two, I'm probably the wrong person to ask, if I'm being real. Technical's fine, great. This has broken a great channel here on Take Two. Like here's what I'll say. Here's my thoughts. See this bit of a channel up? Like it's one, like channel breaks down are bad, but when you're already in a bullish channel and you break it up, I usually see that as like just even more bullish. Alphabet did this last year and went absolutely crazy after it did that. So you're day one of it. You still need to prove that you can hold on to what you look for is like the prior channel top. So I'll just let this go to infinity. Like I'd leave that channel up. The prior channel top, can it retest and hold? And to show you an example of that, only because I know, because Alphabet was great when it did this. I'm not comparing Alphabet to Take-Two. Alphabet had a similar pattern to this at one point. I'm just giving you a visual demonstration of what it did after the fact. And I guess I have to zoom way back out here, where Alphabet was in a similar pullback, channel up, and when it broke the channel, so this is it, testing, breaking the channel, it really didn't even look back, went parabolic, and the rest is history. And then look how far it's disconnected. Oddly enough, if we're zooming in, what was frustrating about this is, I love the 200 period moving average. So the 200 period average gave you a good dip buy, but if you were waiting for it to retest that channel, no mas. But on the way back in, if doomsday ever happens, I'm gonna remember this channel support for Alphabet. I'm not saying we're gonna get there, but if we ever lose the 200 period moving average and you're wondering where Neil's buying Alphabet, and we lose this, it's gonna be this channel. I'm leaving it on for infinity. So Take-Two has a little bit.
So you think that you can get?
No, I don't think I can get it. I just think I'm never getting rid of that channel breakout because it's like a major prior channel of support.
Yeah.
Think of it like an AV WAP or anything else.
Let me ask
I
you
like that stuff for price history. When I'm looking to dip buy, you like the company, you're gonna dip buy it.
Yeah.
Just give me a good solid reason to like it more. And if it happens to be a prior support level or a prior channel or an AV WAP, fine.
Let me ask you this. What is the one stock that you sold that you wish you never did?
AMD. That's
no. Like completely, dude. You still have skin in the game.
Oh, you
right?
mean like
completely got out that you wish you never did.
Completely got out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question.
People saying MU. I'll tell you mine right now.
I never owned Micron.
I'll tell you mine right now, and that was Alphabet. Said 4.
You got all out of Alphabet?
Dude, that was the worst mistake I've ever made. I'm not going to say financially, but from an investment standpoint. Yeah.
It's a tough one.
And I tried to.
Oh no, it's not a tough one. It's not a tough one. Palantir. It's not a tough one. It's Palantir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like everyone's like Sean's a Palantir guy. I would say that because of the hold. So when the direct listing came out, I remember on the trading floor, like probably 1 in 4 people on the trading floor were interested in the direct list. And either took it, bought it, traded it, held it, like did something with it, right? So I'm not gonna pretend that I wasn't part of that game. That being said, I was very happy, like this is direct list, this is when it comes back in. I was very happy to have been like, oh yeah, that was great, that was fun. You know, it went up to like $50, probably got out at 42 with some nonsense because I like the number. But it's not so much that I'm mad that I did. I eventually, I didn't get out of all of it. So technically it doesn't fit your bill because I left a little bit of skin.
Oh, you still have some? Oh, come on,
Not enough.
man.
Not enough that I'd be happier.
Come on, man.
Happier. But plenty of other things have worked out. But if you're forcing me to answer the question, the bigger deal, I think, is when you are presented with the U-shaped IPO breakout trade, like here in Palantir, or what happened with when Robinhood did this. If you remotely like a stock and I see that U-shaped break again, I'm not taking it. That's not even.
I had a lot of good names in my earlier days.
Not taking.
In the teens, like not when I was in teen. Like I'm talking about 2017, 2018. I was actually a pretty big shareholder of Meta. I owned Meta at like $75. And I don't know if it was around then, but that was my average price. And then also Apple, I owned at a very, very cheap price as well too. So those were 2 names in my earlier days when I didn't know too much about investing that I owned, and I continuously bought some. I did, years and years later. And then Apple is one name that I just never really bought back into.
Not all bad.
Yeah.
No. It's never all bad. If you took profits, not all bad.
Yeah, man. But I'm talking like I'm 34 in October now. I was in my earlier 20s at that time, so probably close to a decade or so.
So young.
I don't feel it, man. I don't feel.
How do you not feel young?
Because 34 is not young.
People say this to me and get on me all the time when I act like I'm old, but I can say this to you.
Yeah.
You're young, bro. You're young. You're young.
Yeah.
By the way, Bitcoin started to move and I now have a little something to watch, right? Like it's got, all right, so I'll zoom it back out. If you eliminate the open range and like this parabolic breakout, see how volume came back into it? Then you've got this trend line. While not perfectly drawn, you can get the idea from that pullback that we have a bit of a sea change. It gives me something to look at. Because in the afternoon, if it ain't VWAP and it ain't a trend break, I don't want to diddle too much in the middle, but this gives me something where this little consolidation, I can take it breaking down because it's under the trend line, give myself some, like that target, sorry, this target, that target, that target, give myself 3 targets and have a relatively tight stop. Because I can break it down at 46.20 and I can have a stop up here. That's actually almost too tight. It's almost too tight. That's like 5 pennies. I'll probably need to give it at least a 40. I might just extend it a little bit higher just to give it a bit more room to work because you'd still be talking about 30 pennies at the volume weighted average price. So it's not like it's going to move a ton. But I do like that setup, relative risk here. I can just give it maybe to the top of this 3-minute bar. But Bitcoin coming back in a little bit. Not a lot of action happening in the market. By the way, if you're looking at the IPO, Cerebras, back up to 320. It held 300 exactly. If 300 breaks this afternoon, I'll probably take a little just to go short. I don't know how far, I haven't decided how far I'm going to cross yet. There's always a price you're not willing to pay. I'm not crossing like $10 or anything. I might just cross like $1. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. But it's at 320, so it's unlikely now. But if it breaks the low at $300 in the afternoon, I'd probably take a shot at it. Yeah. Adair, are we going to you?
We are, guys. This has yet to be posted on X. You guys are seeing it here first. Here are the implied earnings moves for tonight. The smallest actually belongs to by far the biggest company on this list. Sorry, I actually need to fix this. It's a good thing I'm highlighting here. Applied Materials, 4 p.m., not 4:05 p.m. They're going to be coming out here, 7.5% expected move. 4:05, you get Figma with a 15% expected move, and then Virgin Galactic, SPCE, and Rumble, both around 13% expected moves. UAMY, US Antimony, and Bit Digital, both at unspecified times after the bell, both of these with roughly 10% expected moves. Also, while I have you guys here, I will discuss the crypto vote again because I did watch that entire nearly 3-hour thing, and I'm going to share it with you guys. Honestly, like I said, watching the Senate Banking Committee mark up the bill is really not necessary to watch unless you are, like me, a massive fan of the Senate hearings, in which case it was actually really entertaining. But beyond that, guys, there was a lot of kind of partisan haggling between certain aspects of language. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of senators were trying to put language in the bill that had nothing to do with crypto, and so then that was being debated on. There were also some concerns over whether or not certain amendments were even being allowed to be heard. Regardless, at the end of the day, you did get that 15-9 vote to pass through the Clarity Act through the Senate Banking Committee. They were clapping when they finally got it done because we all had to sit for like over 2 hours listening to it. But yeah, that's my quick recap there of the Senate Banking Committee's official marking up and later passing of the Clarity Act. We're not out of the woods yet. There were some, now I'm hearing from, again, definitely follow Eleanor Terrett if you're into crypto news. She is a crypto-focused journalist, but she's now saying as well that apparently DeFi advocates might not be happy with certain amendments that were or were not made to the bill. So it's going to be interesting. Again, do recommend watching that. I think now the live, like I don't know if we'd be able to find it because it was live on X, but either way here, Senate Banking Committee's markup of the crypto bill is now done. And 3 hours later, we got a result, which was awesome. I'm also going to be posting that implied moves infographic right now on X after I make that one edit. Back to you.
Ooh, TSLL. And
yeah, it would take one more attempt on this thing, man. Nothing crazy, just get a little action here. When you're just playing poker and you're like, all right, let's get in a little action.
Poker,
yeah. But no, guys, I'm not 34. I'm 33 still. I turned 34 in 5 months. All right.
Cry me river. JKL, holding short MSTR, long send overnight into options expiration. It's a bold move, Cotton. How's it working? You know what, though? I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know this, JKL, but if I'm remembering correctly, all that's happened today, in theory, has probably made that short come back into the top end of the consolidation. I don't know. I don't know your trade. And if you believe that this area, so here's the daily. and I could be wrong about this, and I'm just analyzing for myself. Like the rounded bottom has yet to break out this 200 on MSTR. So you've still got, in theory, like this resistance up here. But I also look at it the other way. Like you do the rounded bottom breakout, and this has a tremendous amount of room to go. Then you throw in the fact that you've been in the continuous uptrend in IBIT. So it's good that this is already broken out and MSTR hasn't, right? Because if you're going to be short it, you're short the right thing. But I still like this as a bit of an uptrend here. We'll see. I'd imagine if it's based on that on the daily, it hasn't really scared you away per se is the best way to put it. I don't know if there was a super chat that we missed, but I think it was Corleone family, this one. Apologies. I think I saw this and I don't know that we addressed it. The Corleone family. I'm trying to think of what my favorite scene is in The Godfather and how it can. Sometimes I feel like the orange is dropping is a good one, but to be honest, I think almost all of my favorite scenes, they're either the flashbacks in 2 with Robert De Niro as a young Vito, or Fredo and Michael. Like Fredo and Michael in Cuba when he gives him the kiss, I know it was you, or when they're back at the house and he basically, those are amazing ones. The car exploding was pretty cool there. But thoughts on AIIO reaching $9 again? I can't think of many situations where a stock is one of these reverse split runners and habitual line steppers and has made it top this distinct where I'm ever betting it's going to happen again on the same day. Like, it's pretty rare for you to have this type of reversal that gets back to the high on the same session. I haven't seen it very often. It's not impossible. It's just usually if you're going to reclaim the high, the pullback holds a little bit higher than dumping all the way from $9 into $5. It's possible. I'm not saying it isn't possible. I just feel like it's rare. Like you just got 5 to 6 quarters. That's 25% off of VWAP twice. Damn, that's awesome. If you get 750 at the lower high, great. But it is a pretty rare circumstance to have those go again. Just when I thought IBIT was moving, it's not, so that doesn't feel like much of anything. Like I'm looking at that trend to break down, it's actually holding the trend line. Do I just like pivot and try it long? Like, is that the play? Then I'm just starting to force trades on something which is not really giving me much of anything. I don't know, how's Tesla doing? Just look at what Joe.
Yeah, we got a little bounce off of that. We have a good question here from a whole bunch of letters there. Hey, Joe, Neil, I need help. If I purchased 10 contracts yesterday and I bought one today, so you're at 2 transactions in 2 days, and I sell 10 today, that's 3 transactions in 2 days. From yesterday, will PDD be flagged or confused since I bought one today? So you have 3 transactions in 2 days. I don't know what the rule is, but I'm pretty sure it's like 3 day trades a week or something along those lines, 3 trades a week or something along those lines. 1 flag, says Ichiro. So you guys would know. Help them out in the chat because we don't have PDT.
We don't have PDT.
Yeah, we don't have PDT here. So
not even close to an expert on PDT. Never had to deal with it. I understand that it'll be good. I understand it'll be good for everybody when it's gone to a certain extent, but yeah, I'm really not sure. We're not going to have to worry about it in a month, but
yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question.
With that being said, do you think
I'm sure we have plenty of be honest, look, we have a lot of viewers in the chat that I'm pretty sure you know the answer to the question. Just step up.
Yeah, they're doing
you guys
so right now. They're like, no, you'd have to sell them all in order. PDT doesn't count if you add into a position. So, and I mean, with come June, I'm sure they're probably going to be a little bit more lax. I don't know how it works in that department. Like, who's flagging? Are they going to be a little bit more lax on the flagging aspect of things? As in a couple of weeks, everything's going to be gone.
Trendy has a good point too. Like, call your broker.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if I ever have a question about something, like real trading, like we're in a prop desk, right? But look, if I have a question where I'm not understanding something or something goes wrong, or the first time, why didn't this fail, or whatever it might be, I'm like,
Brian, so
we have a specific process with which we go to. I put a ticket in, or I ask on a certain channel. But I'm asking, man. If you don't know, ask. I tell this to my daughter all the time. I don't care how dumb you think the question is. If it's important for you to know the answer to it, ask that question. That's what I love about this community. And there's like a million people answering your question. You're not going to find any better trading community than ours, in my opinion, because the breadth of knowledge is tremendous here.
So yeah, exactly, man. It's literally a library. So I think you should be okay by the sounds of things. Buy plus sell equals one trade. So you should be good, which is essentially what you did. You bought, you added, you sold. One trade. Fair enough. All right. Yeah, there goes NVDA. Neil, we were talking about that not too long ago about the largest market cap name here continuing to climb, heading up to 235. I wouldn't be surprised that within the next hour and 10 minutes that we see a new ATH. Nice little bounce off of the lows here in TSLA. I know my guy Luis Valencia is on this one too. I don't know why my level 2 isn't up on that one. TSLA, we'll get that right back up for you guys right now and see what we got going on. Of course, I don't know why it goes straight to Blue Ocean. There it is, bang. With that being said, let's pull up a couple of things and actually go through the largest market capitalization companies. We'll do the top 10. We know Saudi Aramco it was in there. It's in that bad boy. And there it is, the king, 5.7 trillion now, worth $5.7 trillion. We have Alphabet, $1 trillion behind them. Apple sitting in that third spot. See, this is like your fourth. You're sitting at $3 trillion.
Sheesh.
Well, Amazon might beat this here. Neil might surpass Microsoft. I mean, it's only about 200 billion.
When you consider,
it's just crazy.
You are getting the retail business for free with Amazon. If you just consider how big of how big of a behemoth AWS is, then it's relative. If you compare it relative to Microsoft and Alphabet from the cloud's perspective, AWS, right? And so grant that and do a little math, and then compare the retail side to Walmart at Walmart's valuation. If you put those two things together, Amazon should be trading significantly higher.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the way to look at it.
Yeah.
But the other way to look at it would be to say, well, then you could also make an argument that Walmart's overvalued. You could make that argument too.
I think it's the grocery side.
And that could be fair as well. But either fundamentally, one of those two things is true. Whether or not the price action reflects it, I think it bodes well for why you would like Amazon, maybe relative to a Microsoft right now. I wouldn't disagree with that. I like the breakout in NVIDIA right here a little bit better. I certainly prefer Alphabet in general. I think Apple is going to have a really good summer as well. It's a little bit difficult. It's a little bit difficult. The thing is, they're all really good.
Oh, yeah, we did this last time.
But we didn't. SK Hynix is under. I thought he cracked $1 trillion.
Apparently not.
Oh, I know for sure I saw people reporting that it cracked $1 trillion.
Can't believe that.
Maybe it pulled back.
This Staples company is worth $1 trillion. Insane.
Believe it.
Yeah, big time. Like JP Morgan, Neil and I talked about that.
Grit your teeth and buy a bad. Sometimes you got to buy a bad valuation and be able to live with it.
What, with Walmart?
Walmart's not cheap.
No, it's not.
It's expensive.
It's not, and it's split too.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
I mean, as for AMD, I think this is going to be the next name. It's been climbing the ranks after this run. Neil and I were talking about it. I mean, JP Morgan, we're like, oh yeah, for sure, that's going to probably be the next name that hits the $1 trillion club. Watch out. Watch out for AMD, $7.25 right here, billions. These are insane amounts of money. Oracle getting destroyed, cut in half. So this must have been close to $1 trillion. Tencent, the Chinese company there. Cisco, the once most valuable country on the planet. Netflix down there. These guys have intentions to hit the $1 trillion club, but you're quite a ways away from that standpoint. United Health, Bank of America. Like when I was creating my watch list when I first started trading, this is the name that I wish I owned. That was General Electric and GEV. There's GE Renova and then GE Healthcare as well. It's not in the top name or anything along those lines, but even so, I would just go through this and just like add all these Citigroup, Qualcomm, Mitsubishi. We're still in this Tesla trade right now as it's slowly starting to curl over. We're pennies away from an all-time high, 50 cents, 46 cents to be exact, roughly, here on NVDA until it taps into another all-time high.
Got one for you here.
Hi, Joe. MCHP has very large open interest at $188. $108 $44.70 the contracts on 75 call. You have 108 contracts. How do you have 108.447 contracts on Tesla? Did something split? Maybe on 75 call option expiring 17. Any thoughts? I don't even know what MCHP is. Do you?
The company?
Yeah.
You can't know every single thing in the market.
Microchip technology.
You can know the space, not familiar with them fundamentally.
I mean, so you're long. So you have $75 call
large.
options. Those are big time cash right now.
Hell in the money.
Yeah, exactly. That's big.
When do they report?
MCHP. Keep that up for me, Assassino. See what we got going on. Expires September 18th. Cool, man.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. But even so, like we talk. Neil likes to say, "Ring the Reggie." If we're gonna ring the Reggie on this one, I'm sure you.
I also am more of I tend to, as a day trader, I definitely ring the register faster.
Yeah, that's
in the long term though. Like I do believe in buy and hold. I think you do have to when you've got a good runner and the theme still works and the trend still works. I think you gotta. Sometimes you really just gotta allow it to go, especially if you believe in it fundamentally. Again, I don't really know them. Just looking at it, they're pricey compared to.
I don't see
compared to some averages. Like to sales, it's a little expensive. I'm trying to find I don't see their reporting date. Yeah, I don't have the reporting date for earnings on this because you want to know how much time you have till earnings. Ooh, we're starting to creep up. Like seriously, exactly. If I wait all afternoon for this to break trend, and then the second it does, I'm like, okay, and the market catches a bit off of VWAP. Well, that timing stinks. So I did get in. Remember, we're waiting for this to break down and to give it to that. Well, that's what we're in right now. So it'll be a relatively tight stop. I get it, but still in the trade anyways. Jason Financial got a bidding position in Tesla, 452 half and 455 calls expire tomorrow. Gamble or start cutting now and see how it goes up by lunch. See, now that's just a pure momentum play. Like you're like, how much momentum is Tesla carrying into this, into the end of the week? Well, what it is right now it's a brick wall. You're hoping it breaks a brick wall for the last 2 sessions here. We've been pretty bullish, and Tesla's got this. It's an uptrend bull flaggish kind of deal, but you're requiring a breakout for tomorrow. You're just basically gambling on a Friday breakout. It's so much easier as a day trader where I don't have to make that bet until I see tomorrow. The risk here, and I'm just speaking for myself, I feel like things are toppy. We're going to close probably trying to break back into the high, but after this Cerebras and why I'm initially looking short is like you get this big move in crypto, of course, like literally the second I get into the short, you're going to get the market bouncing off VWAP. But with the exuberance that we've had, without a particular catalyst, we're starting, some of the memory names have started to slow down a little bit. I don't know how much I'm favoring. I come into every single morning thinking, a lot of times thinking longs here to the left of them, to the right of them. I don't know that I'm going to feel that way tomorrow morning. And maybe I'm just overreacting to how much they dumped the crap out of that IPO today.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
but you need a brick wall the last 2 days to get released on Tesla, though.
For sure. Yeah, a couple more super chats. We keep them flowing here. We got Big Rudy Smasher with a good question too. Can you guys look at Qualcomm, please? Was thinking of starting a small position here, but would you like your views on this level? Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Let's pull up some Qualcomm and see what we got going on. Qualcomm. Good stuff here. Yeah, I don't think this is a bad area. Small position is good. You can't do CSPs with that unless, obviously, percentage metric is extremely key. I think at this pace, do you want to catch the falling knife? Slow move starting to come back in. $187 could be in the works, right? So that's around $15, $13 from where we're currently trading at. But if you want to start small right there, go half of what you were thinking about starting, and then if it happens to fall back into your level, then sure enough, congratulations, you get to own it at the support level. And if it comes back into the middle of the zone, maybe you'll see a little bit more of a downside. I don't have any issues with slowly starting a position in Qualcomm, but if we look at the weekly on this name, has it been the cleanest? No. Aside from this breakout, and I mean, they do offer a dividend. I think that's something important to take into consideration. So you do get some passive income on that one. 89 cents, the last payout was on March. So yeah, I mean, but look at the history of the stock, right? Like a lot of, I mean, it does break out a decade ago, but then it takes some time and hasn't really been crazy over the past 6 years. So yeah, that's where I stand on Qualcomm. We got another super chat. I got $25K and 6 years to hold it. What Mag 7 stock would you buy? I only get one? Or can I break it up into two? I'm going to break it up. I'm going to break it up.
It says what Mag 7. You only get one, man.
Okay. I think
Alphabet.
it's yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing, man.
You're asking, because that's the thing. Like, we're not here to give financial advice, but I can tell you my personal preference, right?
Yeah.
But if I was like, I literally can say, like, probably the moat. Maybe you can call it a little bit defensive.
Broadcom isn't a bad play.
Well, Broadcom is not in the Mag 7.
It's not. It's not.
Unless you're one of those, we're kicking Tesla out and we're putting Broadcom in.
No, but
there's an acronym where they added a few things to it, and Broadcom was. I just don't remember what the acronym.
Remember back in the day there was FANG, right? Like you had FANG and then you had Mag 7. But I thought Mag 7 was unique because all the 7 companies that were the only ones that are in the $1 trillion club. But now we have more of those companies that are in the $1 trillion club.
Yeah, it's a bit unfair.
Right? So it's like, okay, if we were talking about Mag 7, well, we can still talk about the Magnificent 7.
Well, there's something fun we can do with this.
Just put it in the chat.
What was that question? What was that question exactly?
Yeah, pull that one back up. Assassino.
Forget about the number. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you had to invest
one Mag 7, what are you buying?
One Mag 7 name which? All right, now you guys are sitting there watching me type this. Joe, you can answer this question while I type this.
Yeah, I'm going to, again, me and Neil and I are in the same boat. I know Americans don't say Neil and I, but I think that's how we say things around here, me and Neil. Anyways, aside from that, honestly, John, that's what I was going to say, is like you can have heads as Google, you can have tails as NVDA and flip that coin, and I think you would be fine either way. So we've got a lot of options there.
Well, what do you? It's the Mag 7.
Yeah, all-time high.
Why is my brain breaking? Oh, Microsoft. Like for a second,
see the forgotten one.
Like, what am I doing? The forgotten one.
But
Microsoft. Here's the thing, everybody.
You put in the last one.
Here's the thing. This is going to be a bit much. So I know you're used to typing in the $sign. That's fine too. But like other things are going to muddle that up. So 1 NVIDIA, 2 Alphabet, 3 Meta, 4 Apple, 5 Amazon, 6 Tesla, 7 Microsoft. I'll leave it up for a minute for everybody in the chat, but I'm dead serious. Someone's interested. Like, what is our current preference? I've already said my preference is Alphabet, so I put 2 in there. So keep them coming in. It's all out of curiosity. Like, I'm not saying this is scientific, but we can't sit here talking about how much we love the community and not respect the community's opinion. And what immediately stands out?
What?
Not a single person has voted for Meta.
That's crazy.
What? Okay, there we go. That was sympathy.
3.
Somebody just sympathy voted for Meta. That's actually cold.
Yeah,
it's almost worse that until I said it, nobody voted for Meta. We really don't like Meta that much.
Now you guys are just voting for.
We're talking 31% already NVIDIA, 27.5% Alphabet. Now we got 4 votes. 3% Meta, 3% Apple, 13 Amazon, 13 Tesla. Really, we really don't like Apple that much.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then Microsoft in here for 9%. I actually feel like I just want to, I wish I could talk to you guys as an entity and ask why Apple gets this much hate or lack of love.
Because you know why, Neil? I think because Apple can tend to be that boring investment. But it's one of the plays that just continuously works over and over.
But then, in theory, shouldn't there be a bunch of people who are feeling bearish on the market and then want it for a little bit more safety?
Mm-hmm. And to add to others, Inc. had a good point. If we're talking about percentage gains from where we're currently sitting at, we have to take into consideration that Microsoft's still down 20+%, and same thing with Meta. So they have room to gain. Exactly. Opposed to names like we just talked about, NVDA hitting an all-time high for the umpteenth time today, right?
And I'm not saying I would pick Apple. I'm with you guys. I'm like, NVIDIA's number one and Alphabet's number two. Like I'm with that because I'd probably be leaning those there as well. But it's just a curiosity thing because I was a little surprised that it'd be that few votes.
Yes, Jody.
For sure. Tesla with 13% and Tesla and Amazon both coming in the same. There was a good point. We just got into Power Hour. I don't know if I like IBIT anymore. I might take a second shot if it triple tops. I might not. What I actually am interested in currently might be that IPO again. Just if I see it break down, I'll show you in a second. But there was a question about the IGV that I wanted to quickly. Someone said, how can you feel top-ish if the IGV or software hasn't wouldn't software getting back to the highs? I want to frame it correctly. Someone said to me, wouldn't software getting to the highs be a better signal that we're getting toppy? I don't necessarily think so. I do think that it getting to a point where it looks like it'll turn, that would make sense. And does it feel like it's at that kind of a moment? Not really. Maybe we could, it's more the IPO where the memory names are sitting at. Like that's where I'm getting the feeling from. Anyways, I'll probably come in tomorrow thinking long again anyways. But I think you get to the 200 period here, start to roll over, and that would also be a bit of a signal. That's a pretty big level. I think you should be watching software. A lot of times in a bull market, you look where the lagging things find some resistance because they don't make it to the top like everything else did, and then that's where you get the pullback. That can make some sense. Byron Bravo, we get a lot of super chats. Opinion, I think that's what happens when, I don't know, either it's like slow or like everyone, I know I have like Cerebras exhaustion a bit. Opinion on Xanadu earnings. And you all together make a great channel. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Xanadu. There's probably a musical joke. Probably make some kind of a joke or pun that I'm not doing here. Do you have one, Adara?
Yeah.
Hit it.
I mean, I guess you'll have to see if it'll Xana do it or Xana don't with these earnings. It's a bad pun, but it's been a long day, Neil.
No, see, I should have made that pun. 100% I should have made that pun. So when you're in an overtly price discovery is a wish type of stock, earnings are very difficult to gauge when a stock is in the middle of no clue where price discovery is at. So that can happen for new issues. When you can very safely say that it is almost certain that it cannot move on earnings any crazier than it's already done several times going into it, how much are earnings going to matter? Stock has done 300% multiple times in the last couple of months. And I don't think fundamentally, usually when you get earnings prints on stocks like this, they tend to, I think it's more likely to disappoint in terms of volatility than anything else because maybe it's not the big event. The price discovery, no one has a clue. The good news about that is if you do get an extension in either direction outside of the range, then you could absolutely fly. Right? Like if it breaks, don't think that it's impossible that it does something crazy, but I wouldn't anticipate it either because it's already put in its nonsense moves. Nonsensical moves have already happened multiple times here. Still 307, and I'm still, I said we're gonna go to Dara, but I said I was looking at something which is not useful on a daily chart and not the 300 break. So this is really starting to creep up a little bit, and I want to be bullish on it, but I can't. I'm not. I'm looking for this one, either a reversion point, which could be that 340. Because remember, it opened at 350. When it broke 350, I can tell you with relative certainty. And when I say relative certainty, the reason I know there was a liquidity point at 342 is because that's where I got filled. That's the first place under 350 where if you were scrambling to get your you-know-what out, you could actually get a fill. I happen to know that really well today. And then it turned into resistance at that same exact point later. So if we press up into that 340 to 342, I'm going to look for a short on Cerebras. And I did pay for locates. I unfortunately did not use them today. Things would be so much better because the short was better than the long.
Yeah.
Long good, short better. But if we get to 342, either that level or magically, if we can get a 300 break, I don't think it's happening. But yeah, this is also a good point. If you're ever trading something and you see a liquidity vacuum, where you're executing into a vacuum and you are able to see where fills happen because you were in it, those levels matter. Right? Like it's another reason why I'm critical of myself. I knew that level mattered. And when it bounced into this, I wasn't really feeling short and I didn't take it. Granted, I was doing something else in my defense at that time. Bit of a meeting at that moment, but you can still have that. And it seems completely random, but it's not. In vacuums, where you can get filled is giving you information on the stock. And we're still, even after all that, I couldn't talk anybody into picking a stock that I don't want to pick either. I'm very ineffective. NVIDIA leading the way, that's so chalk, I think. But I like the fact that Google's in there.
I mean, I think they're all really good picks.
Well, they're all
to be honest
good.
with you.
That's why they're the Mag 7.
I meant is the MCHP microchip technology has huge open interest of contracts at Fifth Avenue and College expiring.
Is that a new super chat?
Yeah, it's a new one. Sorry, you didn't need to obviously.
So before we do that, I think we have to go to Adara,
Yeah.
and we'll come back and get that new super chat.
Yeah, at this point, this story has been a couple minutes old and it hasn't really reacted. This came out about 5 minutes ago, though. Verge reporting that Microsoft is now canceling most Claude Code licenses and trying to push developers towards their own GitHub Copilot CLI. Not much of a move here on this for MSFT, but it's worth noting I looked into this. They were embracing Claude Code licenses in December of this year, and now apparently they're reportedly ditching them. So very brief period and very quick about face here for Microsoft. Also, I saw your guys' comments on the Xanadot pun, and they amused me. So go chat, always win chat.
As always, thank you, Adara. It doesn't matter when. We'll make sure we get the news. We'll make sure we get it right. And all thanks to Adara. You might have noticed that we have some volatility in the markets. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. If you haven't noticed, then you haven't been paying attention. And if you like movement because it creates opportunities for traders, then Beta Pro by Globex is offering Canada's first and longest running suite of leverage and inverse ETFs built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple leverage bull and 3 expiry ETFs tied to the NASDAQ 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset US dollar exposure back to the Canadian dollar. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy, objectives, and risk profile. Trade tactically and learn more at betapro.ca or scan the QR code you just saw in front of you, still in front of you. As we speak. And there's that, it's a different super chat.
Different super chat, another one there. Thoughts on NVDA 240 calls for 2M have a great day for 2 million? Is that what 2M means? March 20th? I don't know.
I don't know what else.
What's up with this slang stuff, guys?
Well, it's short form. It's a super chat.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you get as much text as you want to a certain extent to expand. It just makes it easier if it's a little bit more precise. Yeah, you're the opposite guy, and you're like, I don't know what.
Tomorrow. Okay, go back one. There. My guy, tomorrow. We suck, eh? Yeah, we suck, dude. Tomorrow. Come on, get with it. Jesus Christ. All right, thoughts on NVDA 240 calls for tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. No, 240 by tomorrow. I mean, anything can happen. Yeah, finally, tomorrow. All right, man. At least we're getting in. But anyways, aside from,
Oh, that's so bad.
What, that we didn't know that tomorrow?
It's so easy. It's so bad.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's just those ones there, Neil. But no, I mean,
what am I doing?
It's so hard to say. It's so hard to say. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past it. Now have the ability until they physically receive the physical good, the H200. There is some positivity still. We have that gap up. I mean, we open up today around 229. We climb up to 236. Can we tap into 240 tomorrow? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past this name. We talked about it still kind of being in the early stages of this breakout compared to what we've seen with Micron, with the SanDisks, with the AMDs, the Intels. So I wouldn't put it past the name, but it's just the time. If you're looking to grab a quick buck, then maybe just be prepared what you're going to do. Let's actually pull up those contracts. Can you pull up that super chat one more time, Neil? I mean, Assassino.
I mean, I could find it too.
Are you still baffled about that? That we didn't get the 2M?
You know
we're
what?
just talking smack. We're like, come on, man.
It's honestly, if you have to understand, there's these IPO days. It really is a lot of stupid mental capital that gets spent for something that lasts for a very short period of time, and then I find myself you're just in a different mode. I don't even. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Like you'll have an event which is like as big as the biggest thing for your entire quarter that lasts a matter of seconds that you wait for 3 hours for straight, and then you're trying to have thoughts. No, but there it is. It's 240 calls.
Yeah, I mean,
tomorrow.
240 calls tomorrow. I mean, we're talking about not quite at the money, still slightly out of the money. But I think what you would want to do is just find something that you could see a little bit more of a return and less risk. If you're comfortable with spending $120 per contract right now, that's fine. I would rather get a little bit more of a higher percentage return just via the investment here, because this can climb. If you head up into 240, you can still make money from where we're closed today. It may not be as much, but you don't have to worry about the loss on a contract that expires, because come the end of the day, if we're not in the money on this 240 strike, they're going to be worthless. But if we climb to, say, 240 or 242.5, you can still make money on some of these other contracts there. So I'm not going to say it's a bad play. I'm not going to say it's a great play either. I think that's a decision that you need to make.
I could say this. We talked about this being NVIDIA is a stair step up.
Yeah, it is, man.
And I'll say that as somebody who took half of the move today, and it went more. And I think, rightfully, it's like, well, Neil, why didn't you hold it? Well, that's just sort of my style. You make a really good example as to what IPO trading does to you. Because for my style of trading, to get that half of the move and then give it again at 1 o'clock, this is, again, the downside of the IPO trade. I'm not even paying attention. And probably under no circumstances would have been paying attention to an easy dip buy here. But it is stair, step, maybe not everyday parabolic, but if we can hold on to prior, like 234, and do the same thing we did today, you're looking at 240 tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
Sammy's under again. So
Sammy's Sunder.
Oh,
yeah, it's from what day before.
Sammy Sunder. I'm literally saying Sammy's under. Sammy Sunder.
Sammy Sunder.
Wow.
It could be Sammy's under.
And again, usually in the middle of the day, eat lunch, I go for a couple of walks. Like there's all kinds of stuff that does not happen when I'm just sitting here like this.
What's your typical?
For 3 hours. And sometimes I'm like this, and then I'll go like that, or maybe like this, and I'm just sitting there. And that's what the IPO trade actually does to you. And it really ticks me off that they can't just open the stock up within a reasonable time window that we know is going to happen. Just tell me a 30-minute window, and then I can do normal stuff. So anyways, the question was for you.
Yeah, same thing, right? Like our answer doesn't really change here. I understand that open interest has grown a little bit. You have 12,000 contracts there at that $85 or $75 mark. Oh, 108,000. Yes, you are correct. 108,000 holding up above that level. Sorry, I was looking at a different strike. This is a lot of size here. Okay, that's quite a bit of size. 108,000 contracts times that by 100 at that $75 marker. We could head over to the actual chart, MCHP, and see what we got going on once again, because we tend to forget, right? $75. Those are deep in the money. So whoever's involved with that, it's a cash. But I think, like, if you're looking to buy something that's deep in the money, time isn't horrible. But I think you're better betting where a higher percentage return is going to be, say, if we're going to actually break out and continue this move, that's a monthly, that's why. Yeah, I'm just going to have to say no. I'm going to put it that simple, extended pretty quick, wait for this pullback to come into play, and then maybe you can engage at that point. But at this point, 75 could hold, right? That's going to bring you south of that consolidation. So at some point, just wait for things to come into play. Marlon Brando.
That's it.
Florian family, in the opening, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. But what do you think about Figma?
You come to my house. You disrespect me on the eve of my daughter's wedding.
Come to me.
Do you know that you guys know the story about the scene when the guy who comes in and he's stumbling through,
like
talking to him?
Yeah.
So when that scene happens because the dude's not an actor. He was a consultant. He was an actual mob enforcer who was a consultant on the film. They're like, we're going to put you in the role. So when he's outside in the chair mumbling to himself, practicing his lines, that was the actual dude trying to figure out his lines. So they just left it in that he was stumbling it through, that he was like so nervous talking to the Godfather. Okay, so Figma, obviously, and thank you, Corleone family. Again, we probably don't care about an intraday chart. I've already said how I feel about Figma in a general sense. What you can also say here, though, is they're finally, like, they're in the process of at least coming down, if they're able to beat here, beat next Q, where they're going to get to the point where you get like more reasonable valuation, and you can start to have another, other than people just picking the bottom on it, you'll start to get, and I'm not saying it's a value, I think it's far from a value. I don't know that they're maybe capable of having the quarter that gets it into the conversation of being value. But, you know, their forward PE is now existent and underneath 100, right? So you're getting into that point where you can get some normalization. So I just look for that. I think a bull case for it could be that you start to get some normalization metrics where it doesn't look egregious and people start looking at the bottom here and saying, hey, there's a little something. That's about all I think of Figma. And I'm trying to be nice about it because I have almost never any interest in trying to bottom pick things like this. I'm more along the line, I say it over and over again, I would rather wake me up when you show that you can round a bottom, break a top, and if I'm missing the first 15% of something at the low that has room to go, then what do I care? At least I'm not taking multiple stabs at it at that point. So I'm looking the 50 pretty closely there. But yeah, just see where the forward lands after that. Like they're starting to get, they'll probably be more reasonable metrics after tonight's print, so long as they don't, you know what, the bed. And Pops Mafia, what was the ticker on the IPO today? Sure, it was CBRS. You mean the other one? You know what? I didn't even look at the other one. All right, so for the first time today, there was a couple.
There's a couple,
there was multiple. For the first time today, I'm not making this up. I'm going to pull up this BXDC that I did not take. Wouldn't it be hilarious if it was better than the one we did? Blackstone Digital Infrastructure.
Blackstone.
Well, that sucked. So never mind. That was terrible. You couldn't have made money long if you tried on that, so that's useless. And then Eagle Rock was the other one. You maybe could have made, you could have made money, not necessarily just taking a shot at the open here at 23. So oddly enough, yeah, CBRS was the best today. It hasn't, remember that hole I wanted to press into 342, that just hasn't happened. So I'm not really seeing much of a trade there at all. Tomorrow though, well, tomorrow's trade today. 300 break on CBRS.
Okay.
Right, like you want to tell me that it opened at 350, has a bottom at exactly $300.00, and if $300.00 holds today, that it's not a shot short tomorrow. And at Real Trading, we had to pay 8 cents per share today for locates. I bet you it'll be even cheaper tomorrow. So it'll be a few pennies to grab shares for locates. And if it breaks 300 tomorrow, I'm taking the short. This thing was $115 they were going to issue it today, or on Monday. And $185 was the issue, and it traded all the way up to $385. And it's going to close off the lows. And you know what also grinds my gears? You know what you're going to hear everywhere else?
What's that?
And Cerebras with a successful IPO today, up 76%.
Yeah, exactly.
On day one of trading, and this is more effective if you can see the downward trend on the chart as I say it too. And up 76%, and you look at the chart, and anybody that was trading it today or watching it today is like, huh? Successful IPO, huh? Really? So the buyers were in control on the first? No, they weren't. No, they absolutely weren't. That's what they say about all of these. That's what they say about all of these.
Headlines are already hitting. They're already like, coming out at double, opening up at double the initial offering.
Well,
price.
that part's that's at least true. We're going to Adair for breaking news.
CZR popping to the upside. Financial Times reporting that Caesars Entertainment could, I guess, be back on watch here with potential acquisition. Banks reportedly lining up to back a hospitality billionaire's deal for Caesar Entertainment. This buyout interest here in Caesars has been previously reported, but FT now reporting that banks are trying to back up this buy to take CZR private. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. I don't know that I want to chase, but little something here.
Kaiser Soze.
Who said Kaiser Soze?
Ooh.
There is no Kaiser Soze.
There's no Kaiser Soze.
No Kaiser.
Ooh.
No. Well, there's nothing too crazy.
With Caesars, you think for the potential fade on that one there?
It didn't get high enough. Did not press high enough that you'd consider a fade.
I know for tomorrow's trade today, I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin. I think we might be a little bit in play here. Nice, strong, steady uptrend. Some Coinbase as well, too. I think that can be in play.
Huh?
Yeah, so the crypto, I think the crypto trade, let's see, man. It's going to fake everyone out and just fade City, or we might continue on today's trend. So that's my play. We got Robinhood, we got Coin, and we have IBIT on our mind for tomorrow as we're slowly starting to come back in. But a nice move up, man. The long term's going to like this one for sure. And hopefully we can start that climb back to greatness again here in crypto space. So
Make crypto great again?
yeah, well, that'd be nice, but
Wouldn't be bad.
I don't think there'd be too many people complaining about it. I wouldn't be one of them who I wouldn't complain.
Oh, I wouldn't be one complaining, but there's always people complaining.
There's always, you find someone who would.
There's always somebody.
Someone asked a good question here. I can't remember. Just put it back in the chat. I answered the crypto play, so that's not horrible whatsoever. We talked about MCHP. There's a lot going on. Oh, this is what I did want to touch on, is like how we have, once again, NVDA and some of these chip names putting in new all-time highs. We have Netflix doing absolutely nothing. So, I mean, this poor thing here right now is just not performing well whatsoever and still down substantially off of its high. So, yeah, 34 to the tune of 34% to Netflix.
I think it's my cash in the chat, but I'm going to double check it because my brain this afternoon reading names and reading super chats has been absolutely terrible. It's my Scash. See, I just said my cash. It's my Scash. Whatever. I'm still probably getting it wrong. You know who you are. I'm going to talk about Micron, but can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Check out 800 and 820
On
if you
Micron?
can on Micron, because like this is when I look at like the first gut feel I usually have when I look at a chart like this. Okay, like it's parabolic, yes, but then look at the top end of the range. This is a complete like make an all-time high reversal day. Right? And then on the reversal day, it closes right back in a V shape, gaps up, and then spends 2 days consolidating. So goes into the top, traps shorts. Don't tell me you didn't trap any shorts on this day. Because if 100% you have trapped some shorts on this day. And then you get 2 days worth of consolidation where the short's really giving up because it consolidated sideways a couple of days. Like there's some breakout characteristics there. That being said, what kind of a wall are we running into?
11,600 contracts, and if we're going to talk about in comparison to everything else, like how much substantially larger it is than everyone else.
Okay.
And from a volume standpoint too, right? So it makes sense. 800 bucks. So it's I mean,
it makes sense. Friday,
yeah, exactly.
Pretty round number.
You're 3 times
in the
amount here. Yeah, at the 820, not too much size there. 345. No? Yeah, nothing crazy.
So if we so if we chew through 800,
you could take that next climb higher.
If we chew through 800, then the 820 isn't as big of exactly.
Okay. And that's what I was thinking here in regards to NVDA's earnings report. We've seen the numbers at 35 start to grow, and that's why we rejected on multiple occasions here today. I mean, we did tap into 236.49, but look what we have going on at 35s, right? So these are currently ITM. Now, leading into that earning report, the Friday, which I believe is going to be the 29th. No, I'm just talking about the end of next week after NVDA's earnings report, which is somewhere around 27th, sorry. It'll be the 27th. There's nothing, we have absolutely nothing from a size standpoint. What am I even talking about? It's 12 days away. The 20th is the report,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Wednesday would be the 22nd. What am I
Less
even
than a
doing?
week
Yeah,
away.
we can tell we're tired here. Yeah. I mean, like there is nothing still in regards to what we got
Really?
going on for. Yeah. But I mean, other than that, something that expires this week. And we were talking about previous earnings reports where we've seen hundreds of thousands. I think at one point I seen the largest amount of open interest on a specific contract was at NVDA, like 190, 200 or something like that. We have nothing leading into this report right now. So what does that say to me? I'm as bullish gets. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. But if I'm going by what the options trade is dictating and what we've had from past records and previous data, is that we typically see high levels of open interest and call walls that sell the underlying asset. Right now, we're not seeing that whatsoever. It's just not there. So I'm super, super bullish, and I've been saying that for quite some time here on NVDA. Will it exceed its expected move? I think that's a different story. It's time for us to get out of this Tesla trade as it broke down. We take a small loss on that one, but it's small potatoes on the grand scheme of things anyways. I took 10% of what we had on the previous positions. So we get out of that. We're still 3 for 4 totally on names, which isn't bad whatsoever. So I'm not going to complain about that, but I'm as bullish gets on NVDA leading into the report. Could I be hella wrong? Absolutely. There's always that chance.
Adara.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I just want to let you guys know, in case you don't know, we're going to have the last day ever of Fed Chair Powell as chair of the Fed tomorrow. So I thought, what better time than to update my Powell tie infographics. Now, if you are new to this community or you were not aware, last year I did a whole very long research project where I went through all of the FOMC conferences with Fed Chair Powell as chair of the Fed, and I would look at all of them to see what color his tie was, because there's a lot of furor around, is he wearing a purple tie? Statistically, he wears a purple tie almost all of the time, and after December 2023, that was the last time he wore a non-purple tie, I think at least partially because purple is viewed as nonpartisan, and this isn't me speculating, he says something to this effect as well. So this is basically the legend for this. Now we have, I think this is like 66 meetings. So here we go. So basically this is just kind of shows you like what color tie was worn, and then if there was a hold, if there was a rate cut or a raise, how many basis points it was. Each arrow is 125 basis point cut or raise. Anyways, that's like the older version here. That's going up to basically the research I did to last year, so March 2018 to March 2025. Here's the last year of Fed Chair Powell's tenure. Now, as you can see, we switched to only purple ties and pretty much just holding rates steady. I'm going to be posting these updates likely tomorrow in honor of his final day as Fed Chair. I already did update and repost one of these infographics yesterday, so you know where to find them. They're on X at TTV Research. But if you are interested in like random little statistical analysis or anything like that, or if you have any ideas for me, things you'd like me to post, please let me know in the chat. I just saw a comment here, Dara, this is unhinged. Perhaps it is, but that's what we love doing over here at Trader TV Live, giving you guys statistically sound, but you know, maybe completely random data analysis. Back to you.
Until it's not. By the way, you know what? I've never really applied this. I was going to do the poll thing, but...
Applied materials?
No, I've never really applied just a strict... I was waiting for a key price level and then watched this trend break. Well, I didn't watch it. I guess I was a little bit... I saw the trend break on the second candle, not the first candle. I was like, man, I should be short this. There's your trend break. There's your confirmation. It's a 322 short. And then I remembered this stock is like Looney Tunes, so I can probably just sit on the offer at 322.
Ooh.
I mean, it was just as likely to come up and pick me up before it dropped $10 as I was saying it. Oh, like the stock is Looney Tunes. It might have picked me up, and I can have my stop in there and see if it goes to the low. It's getting a little bit late for the 300 break, though. That said, it's not that late. As long as it's within the next 5 to 10 minutes and not too parabolic into it, like maybe a little consolidation, I might still grab that. But the poll is overwhelmingly, I'm going to end the voting because I feel like everyone's put their votes in. No surprise that NVIDIA won with 30% of the vote. Which Mag 7 name are you buying? Alphabet with 26%. Meta ends up, believe it or not, Meta ends up beating Apple, 3.7 to 3.3. It's still surprising. Amazon 12.5. You got Tesla at 14. You got Microsoft at 10. And the only reason that I'm surprised, like the argument for Meta would be it has a lot of room to run. The same argument that Microsoft gets, Meta I think gets. The argument for Apple is you cannot sit there and tell me if it's a boring stock, right? Like if it's the boring stock, then wouldn't there's always bearish people in the market. Wouldn't the bears like this one more? Am I wrong about that? Or is it just that it's already it's boring and you're having to buy it at the high? Maybe you only like boring things. Yeah, boring stock, you probably prefer it on the dip. But if we're thinking along those lines, then why doesn't Meta get any speculative love? It's like 25% from its all-time high. If we're talking about room to rally, then where's the love for Meta?
That's what I'm saying. There's just got too many headwinds right now, I think, man.
Hate.
Yeah, there's a lot of hate for Zuckerberg and company right now. Thoughts on DVLT earnings tomorrow? Pre-market, let's pull that up here. DVLT, see what we got going on with that name. We get outside after this. It's still cold, but
it's warming up tomorrow.
It's warming up tomorrow. It's been absolutely horrendous here, if you ask me, just from a temperature standpoint. For the past, literally the whole month, I think it's been rain. The majority of the days in cloudy.
I think I said it this morning. I was genuinely, and I can't say anything because it's not my place to, but my daughter's team, I coached their practice last night, and I was genuinely upset with a certain. It's like you can't. How did you have your kid without a jacket, freezing their butt off?
Yeah, man.
And it's like there's nothing. I was like, what? I can't even do anything about this right now.
Yeah.
And I was just. It's not my place.
Yeah, it's not your place.
Should I have said something?
I don't know, man. That's tough because then it becomes.
I should have said something.
Yeah, I mean, just like, hey, it's. Again, it's just like people would go to the point and are like, hey, mind your own business.
I made a comment to the group at the end about, I know the weather's not been that great. I was like, basically, like, if you feel, I know it's baseball and you're supposed to be in like baseball gear, but you can have your jacket on. If you want to wear a toque, you don't have to wear a baseball cap. Like I said that, but I didn't say anything to the parents.
You said it indirectly.
I said it indirectly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, come on, man. It was cold. Like I was freezing. I have a jacket. Hoodie,
and I'm one to get cold, man. You guys know me. You gotta stay warm. And yeah, exactly. I'm always cold, man. So yeah, I'm one to be like even more miserable when it's gloomy and it's cold out. Here it is. As for DVLT Data Vault, I think there's a couple. Obviously, there's always a couple of things that can happen here. This support level breaks, it could get ugly. But the way the technicals are looking, are we buying into the earnings report? Not currently, but it's not a horrible session. But I think there's a little bit more upside than there could be potential downside there with Data Vault. So yeah, other than that, man, it's unfortunate here with weather here in Ontario. What do you think of Pang? I got in at $33. Pang?
I just saw someone, Penguin
Solution.
Someone in the chat just said something about when Neil buys an iPhone or iWatch. Never. The only time I'll buy Apple is their stock. Deal with it.
Oh, you don't even have an iPhone?
Hell no.
Okay.
My whole family is Apple. I grew up using Apple products, so that's a funny thing. But I just like Android better. What do we think about Penguin? I don't know if I could chase. Like, it's so difficult. Yeah, there's way too much out there in the market that has this feeling of, ooh, great if you've got it, but if you're not. Like, there's stocks that I own that I can't buy up here. Like I wasn't the buyer of Intel starting at 19. I was the buyer. I was like 25. I love this 25 level on Intel. I think it's got blah blah blah. And then it was 19, and then I like the 19 level. And even I wouldn't buy Intel up here. I don't know if you can chase. It's a hard.
Well,
I
would not. Yeah, I would not.
It's really difficult with these.
All of them, dude.
No, there's so much out. There's so much out here that. It's really difficult to think. I'm not saying they're shorts. Far from it. The trend is your friend. It's a ridiculously steep trend, and when you're in a really steep trend on increasing volume like this, stocks turn into holds, where you start saying, okay, well, maybe they break some big trends back in, and you're holding your piece for that, or waiting for more structure, or going out. And there's only so much you can do with some name when you go out to a really high time frame. I get that. But you could look at this, like you can look at this one from like a 3-month perspective, and it's a bit head and shoulders-y as well on the 3-month, which could also lend to a pullback. Maybe if it starts consolidating, like if you get a quarter where it proves it holds above the 50 again, then maybe there's a consolidation next for the next run up. That's what the 3-month chart would say. But that's a 3-month chart. A 3-month chart is usually telling you to do a heck of a lot of nothing, I find.
Yeah. It's like
There's a lot of waiting when you're looking at a 3-month chart. Like if I see this chart, then I need a lot of convincing to buy up here instead of wait for down there. Like you look at the consolidation, like $30 in here. Well, this says, okay, fail up here, wait for that. If it holds up here, try to get this to that, like that kind of nonsense. But again, 3-month chart, so you got to wait for probably at least into, I don't know, at least a little bit deeper for a few weeks for it to look strong above the $50 level. But anyways, that's just my thought for a lot of these runners.
I agree.
You're in more of a hold and wait
Still
situation.
an Apple.
Than
Okay.
anything else. What else we got going on? 10 minutes until the imbalances come out. I didn't look at the early. Well, that's interesting.
Early look. What's
XLF for $4 million. Look, Barrick Gold. We've seen Barrick Gold for $3 million a few times in the last couple of weeks, but I have not seen the XLF with a $4 million buy and balance. I don't know, ever. Seriously, I don't think I've ever seen that. So there could be something here. It's not moving. That doesn't necessarily matter, but a big buy and balance on this, if it sticks around going into 350, I mean, it's at VWAP too. The closer this gets to 350, I might just throw this one up here. That's pretty big. That's 1/4 of the daily volume. Or actually, that's no, 1/6 of the daily volume. And if you include the paired volume, that's almost half of the day's volume. Like 45% of the day's volume in the total auction, and about 16.5% of the day's volume is just the imbalance on the buy side. So if it wants to hold VWAP and gets close to 350, it might be worth a quick little 347 long, tight stop, and just play for a little bit of a pop.
Fair enough, fair enough. Katie, what's up, everyone? Yeah, I mean, I asked Neil where he got his sweater too, Stockhead. He wouldn't tell me.
No, it's not that I don't remember, man. I've had this sweater for over a year, at least, maybe even 2.
Stockhead said that you dress like a billionaire. I'm like, I know, man. Don't forget, he's a maple syrup tycoon.
Okay, first of all,
I mean, you told me, you told us.
I'm not a maple syrup tycoon.
He's a maple syrup.
My in-laws do make their own maple syrup.
Yeah,
but they don't even sell it.
Yeah.
You know what? Because I actually did ask the question to my father. I'm like, you could sell it. Like they're retired.
Yeah. You may as well.
I'm like, you could turn this into
something.
Enough of something.
Dude, there's reserves
as a hobby, but
right?
They're just like they enjoy doing what they do. Whatever. Like it's so weird because it's. I guess that's like where my brain goes. Like if I was retired and I wasn't doing anything and I was already doing this anyways, it's like I'd probably just turn it into a business. Like what else am I going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
You're putting in all that work anyway.
You may as well do it. I mean, how much maple syrup are you going to actually eat? You may as well sell the rest. No?
Well, how much are you going to?
Yeah, like how much can you potentially eat? Like I'm not a big maple syrup guy. I don't know.
They have. So first of all, they have 3 daughters.
Oh,
all have grandkids. And family.
That's
like
fair,
we go up once a year. We visit them a lot, but one particular visit is always to help out for a weekend or sometime maybe a little bit longer. My wife will stay up there with my daughter, and you put in some work, and then we have maple syrup for the whole year.
Oh, okay.
All we can
wow.
eat.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I've sweetened my coffee at home with maple syrup.
And yeah, that's the thing to do. That's the play, right?
You think Canadians are using honey when you've got real maple syrup?
You got maple syrup. These guys don't even know about what happened over there in the East.
It's perfect for everything.
Where that whole maple syrup heist and everything.
Good in ice cream, straight up, that's true as well.
Good stuff, man.
No, but I get it. Like, not everybody, like, running a business is a lot of work. I'm just saying if you weren't doing anything else.
Of course. Coinbase actually is selling off quite a bit here, 215.82. With the VWAP, we're holding off at that level, and I can't even speak at this point. Now, Tesla, we got out of that one as it broke through. Couldn't breach back higher, guys, so it's a channel down at this point. You can see consistent higher lows at these larger pivot levels, so break below the volume-weighted average price. But still, that support level holding up. But I told you guys about what we got game plan for tomorrow, and that's going to be Coinbase, like via CONL. Don't forget, when you're trading these leverage plays, on the downside, absolutely disastrous. This is how you lose all of your money, is swinging these, especially when underlying assets are really starting to tank. I don't know why that's not pulling up for us here, but COINL to the downside, that gives you about 7.5%, so half of that of what we got going on in the actual underlying there. So COINL, Robinhood, I don't know if there's a leverage play on this one. I don't think we necessarily need it, but holding up relatively strong. And then we have IBIT holding up strong. Now, as for this name, what we can typically see is that in the post market, once everything starts to cool off and the Asian market starts to kick back up again, you can see that additional leg and that additional rally within Bitcoin. I'm still waiting for that morning where I wake up in the middle of the night and I just look at my phone to see what's going on, because that's what I typically do, and I see that Bitcoin's up 4.5% or 5% or north of that $85,000, $90,000 marker.
Well, because the market hates me today on IPO day, that interesting imbalance on XLF is completely gone. Like, it was there for 4.5, you saw it, it was there for like over 4 million shares, and now instantly gone. So with 5 minutes to go, that's no longer there. Barrick, the reason I'm not interested in Barrick, it actually does fit the criteria of a 3 million buy imbalance into 6.8 million. It's a buy imbalance at the lows. It's just that every single time, and I'm gonna keep it up because there's nothing else to look at. The IPO didn't give me that fill, by the way. There's not that much else to look at. It's usually, every time we've seen it, it's just paired off and not done a big move the last couple of weeks when this one's been on the imbalances. But 3 million is 3 million. It's only done 6.8 million in volume today, so it's a pretty significant chunk as we have about 5 minutes to go. Why is everyone so interested in this sweater? Does it really matter?
It's a nice sweater.
Oh, so you dress classy blindly. I believe you shouldn't tell people anyways, that's your style. Oh, you know what, I'll just, here, pretend that I didn't say that I can't remember where I bought it. Let's just all forget that I said that. And so you're curious where I got the sweater. Look, I have a personal style that's just me, and I'd like to reflect that by keeping it to myself, because it's part of my identity and my personality that I dress this way. So I'm not trying to have other people copying me out there. This is just how I roll.
That's crazy.
See how much better that sounds than, I have no damn clue. I can't remember where I bought this thing.
That's crazy.
And I really don't. I can tell you a random trade from 15 years ago. I cannot tell you where I got this sweater. I probably bought it a year or two ago.
Later, a guy from work, or I think he's clapping there. So good answer. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like every time Neil talks.
It is comfy.
It looks very comfy. Can I touch it real quick just to see how it feels? Yeah, it's just nice.
You know, I pull that gambit all the time, where you ask somebody a question with,
and then you just do it.
Zero intention of caring about what their answer is. You're just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna see.
You guys don't know this, but because you're young. But back in the day when there was phones and like call waiting and stuff, it was customary that you get a beep on your phone. Hey, I got another call. Do you mind if I click over?
Yeah.
Because people would ask that question. They don't give a damn what your answer is. They're just gonna click over anyways.
They're going
so I would just always answer no. Actually, no. I'm busy right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking to you. Can we finish this off because I got things to do? And then they'll always trip them up and be like, huh? In high school, I used to do that. And they're like, huh? What? I'm like, yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
you didn't care. You didn't think I was going to actually answer that question. Just admit that you, and they'd be like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, it's fine. Go ahead. And I wait anyway.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They love that, by the way. Because look, you know who you're talking to in high school on the phone. And so that was a way to differentiate yourself. And people used to think it was cute. They're like, ooh, that's interesting that you do that. Now all of a sudden, I'm going to pay more attention to you.
Let's head over to our watch list, guys, and we're gonna start from the bottom up. How are the financials? Someone said they called you Mr. Roger. You know who is that guy from again? Mr. Rogers.
Legend.
Mr.
Rogers.
Yeah, with
one of the greatest
I know.
shows.
Yeah, for sure. What was this show? Was it just
Mr. Rogers?
Was that it?
In Canada, we had Fred Penner and Mr. Dressup.
Mr. Dressup.
In Canada.
Yeah.
But Mr. Rogers was
Mr. Rogers.
States.
God bless.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. That's all it was.
Neighborhood. Hymns to the downside, guys. We're going to start from the bottom up. Actually, never mind all of that. Let's head over to Nike. Almost at a new all-time low again, once again here in Nike. Darrow was talking about this morning. Boeing acquiring more jets. China, that is, 200 of them, I believe it was. And then we also have DoorDash that had a pretty good report, but still selling here, guys. So not too good of a look, continuous and consecutive days at that. And then sure enough, what are we going to be looking at is Uber, a name that's just extremely underperforming everyone right now. So, I mean, if we're talking about market breadth, is there really any outside of this chip trade? It's hard to find it because we got some pretty important names like McDonald's off of the highs. We have Uber, Walmart is doing okay. I mean, TK Holdings, we're not, okay, that's not too bad there in TKO Holdings. But other than that, think about the banks. The banks and some of the fintech names are absolutely getting walloped, right? Just absolutely getting beaten to a pulp. I want to head over to the JPMs. $300, we'll take it. But we had this strong session, but no follow through over the past couple of days within that specific name. So JPM, wow, Morgan Stanley put in a new all-time high, though. What is going on with JP Morgan and co? We're not too far off of Goldman Sachs all-time high here, Neil. What is happening with Citibank up to? Okay, not as good. So JPM, one of the worst performing banks aside from Bank of America and Citibank.
I think some of the banks, I saw someone in the chat asking this earlier, the timing of the bank drop, or at least for some of the banks, did coincide with the furthering of the Clarity Act. So it could be related, though I can't say for sure. I will say at the very least there is some correlation there.
Sure. Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking from a daily perspective as well, too. Like Goldman Sachs is only a couple percentage points, and Morgan Stanley went into all-time high today. But yet we're over here looking at JPM still down about 10% off of its all-time high there. So yeah, interesting stuff there, guys. There's going to be a lot of play. I will always be a holder, a shareholder ever since I bought it of JPM, and I'll continue to do so. I'm in JPM via the CDR.
I've always been a Morgan guy.
Morgan guy?
Yeah, I own Morgan Stanley and then.
Yeah, I used to own TD. As a young fella, I had a pretty good portfolio back in the day with very little knowledge.
Yeah, the Canadian banks are different from the U.S. Imbalances are now out. You've got Open Door, $2 million to the buy on Open Door. Poet is $1.1 million to the buy side. Ford, great day, great last 2 days for Ford, $1 million to buy. NVIDIA, $1 million sell. Boo, QUBT is $1 million to the sell side. Plugged, we care, yeah, why not? They were up as well. 800,000 is not a lot for a $4 stock. Not much else in Mag 7 land, but we do have an overall. That's it, 183 to sell. Yeah, market's 183 to sell and NASDAQ 500 to the sell side. Pretty nothing burgerish. What about that 2 million on Open Door? Didn't even move. Did I get that right? Yeah, it is. Open Door is 2 million. I'm looking at it right. Open Door moved exactly 0 cents on a 2 million buy-in balance. Okay, I guess that's how we're rolling. Poet with a 1.1 million buy-in balance. That did not move more than 2 cents either, and it's a $20 stock. What the heck is going on? QUBT's a million buy-in or sell-in balance. That better have at least moved. Oh, it moved 5 cents, maybe 6. Wow, the market, these really care about the imbalances today. Any of the ones that looked significant on volume, flat out not moving. And then, of course, remember I told you Barrick, it shows up big on the early look, and then it's nowhere to be found when the imbalances drop. This is exactly why I didn't bother with it. We've seen that almost every single day with Barrick. Bit of a disappointment. Cerebras will have to wait for tomorrow for the 300 break, but promise you this, I'm going to attempt to take the 300 break tomorrow. If it breaks $300 to the downside, I'm going to pay for locates when I sit down tomorrow. It'll be one of the first things I do when I get into the office. I'll be log into the PC first because that's required. And then I will log into the platform, and then I will pay for locates and be ready for a 300 breakdown on what was a successful, unsuccessful IPO. Good for trading. Really bad for anybody that tried to buy and hold it, unfortunately. But come on, man. 185 to open at 350 to trend down all day. You can't tell me that the exit isn't high for some of this stuff, for this thing tomorrow. It was so crazy on the way up. Like there were so many people, I'm not outing any, but a lot of people didn't even want to play the open when normally it would be a no-brainer because of how absurdly high it was. That was almost unprecedented. Like I'm just like, I don't want to deal with it. Kind of crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, sorry, BTA, man. Yeah, sorry, Blicky Spears about that. We've all had that BTA action in the overall market. We'll call it BTB because we can say when we're belt to bum.
Oh.
Yeah. Belt to BTB and straight. We've all had those sessions. Other than that, guys.
My midday walk. I'm telling you.
So I was going to ask you this. What's your typical, I don't know if you want to release this just in case, people might be.
What's up?
What's your typical route that you go during your afternoon walk?
Oh, I don't actually have a.
Oh, you just go with the wind?
No, I just kind of walk around here. I don't. I really don't. Like I'll just kind of head outside and
just go outside and get some fresh air. Yeah, that's going to be me today.
Like, sometimes I might do the same route 2 or 3 days in a row, and then at some point,
and you get
randomly
sick
change
of it
up.
and you switch something up.
Why wouldn't I say anything? You think someone's gonna start?
Yeah, you never know, man. They might try to run up on you and catch an autograph or something, or some. No, I'm only playing around with you.
No one's running up on me.
No, no one's running.
Walking in the middle of the day.
Hey, in Queens Park area.
Nobody's
No
walking
one's
up
doing
on
that, man. Thought the same thing, but I was more saying during the speech, one last tank for a goodbye. Yeah, you never know, right? Good afternoon. Boom. Flush City on that one. I don't have Instagram, to be honest. And it's me, gay there. I've had it actually, and I never really added anything to it. My cousin, years and years ago, he was having his daughter, and they were doing a gender reveal, and this was during COVID when no one can get together, so 6 years. I just made an account so I could watch it via that, so I've never had Instagram. So, yeah, anyways, aside from that, Randy doing pretty good here. We'll pull up the stock portfolio as we're heading today. We're going to get the rebalances momentarily. It wasn't a horrible session. I know the boys did pretty good, and Adara did fantastic on Cerebras, so I'm happy for everyone, and I'm glad that everyone had the ability to take advantage of it, and hopefully we'll continue to do so leading into the next massive IPOs that are coming up. Apparently Discord being one of the sleeper IPOs of the year, so we're waiting for that one, and then obviously SpaceX and Anthropic coming in the latter half of the year. So I'm looking forward to it. A lot of good things still to come, and hey, tomorrow is Friday. I hope everyone's got some solid plans heading into the weekend as well. It's a Canadian long weekend, isn't it?
It is the Canadian long weekend.
It is a Canadian long weekend.
Yeah, it's a Canadian long weekend here. I've already made my rants known about this. I would just prefer that we had the same holiday as the U.S.
Of course.
It would make things a heck of a lot easier. The fact that we have a long weekend now and then the U.S. has it the next week, it just... I get it. They're all supposed to mean something, but does it really matter that much? Can it just be easier for everybody? My daughter's going to a birthday party on Saturday.
Okay.
On Sunday, I'm really hoping the weather is nice because she wants to... One thing we want to accomplish is do some pitching practice.
Okay.
And
is that her
if we
favorite
get to some
position?
Hitting, it's new this year. So previously, last year, baseball was coach pitch 1 inning and then T-ball the next inning.
Okay.
This year, there's a little bit of coach pitch for 3 innings, then every inning after that is player pitch. So it's the first time that you're actually getting a chance to pitch.
Nice, man. What stuff you really want to work on? That sinker or?
No, at 9 years old, and we had a kid who's like, I throw sliders at practice yesterday. I'm like, you're 9. I won't say your name.
Yeah.
You have heat. Just throw a fastball.
Oh, yeah, heat?
Throw a fastball until you can throw a fastball where you want to as a kid. Like, I didn't throw a breaking ball till I was like, I used to always pitch. I didn't throw a breaking ball till I was like 15.
Okay.
Like, why? Like, you just fastball change up, man. If you got a good fastball, throw it where it needs to go. You worry about spinning it later. You don't need that nonsense in baseball because if you can get that down, then adding velocity, adding command.
That 4-seam fastball.
Because the one thing that's true, there's an innate ability to spinning it that I hate to say it. Like some people have it and some people don't.
What's the major difference between a 4-seam fastball and a 2-seam?
Oh, it says as the ball is spinning, it's contacting either seams more or less, which either gives it more ride. Or effectively the opposite, which would be less ride and then it sinks, right? So think of it that way. Like as the 4-seamer is going, it's getting 4 of the seams in contact on the spin, so it then decreases, it falls less.
Fair enough.
And yeah, so that when you're playing ball, if you're an infielder, you want to grab a 4-seamer because it's more true. You don't want to throw sinkers to your first baseman. Something that I didn't get taught, thank you to my coaches, till I was like 12 years old. You think that would be basic. 3 minutes to go, everybody. As I said, the imbalances are a little bit of a nothing burger there, as we can all now plainly see. So that kind of is what it is there. That Cerebras, I still think it's a bad day for them, even though we're all going to hear how great the IPO was from a percentage standpoint, how impressive everything was. The other thing we got to keep in mind here as we go into the end of the week, I mean, man.
Yeah.
This move up,
crazy, man.
I think it's just like you come into the day with the assumption that we're going up, and the day that it doesn't happen, fair enough. All right? It's like market, you got me. And we'll just live with that when it doesn't happen. But every single day, the only thing that was different about today was the lack of the dip buy. right? Like we got so big dip reverses 2 days in a row in the overall market and some individual names as well that it just kind of psychs you out. And then there's a few ones, if we're being real about it, this day on Intel has me thinking flat bottom tomorrow. Like it's hilarious to me that like a scalp and the opening candle is still most of what the day was on Intel today. Like, that's kind of jokes. So if there's anything I'm looking for, flat break flush, it might be Intel. Like if we're looking tomorrow's trade today, steal that one. Like 114, like this breaks down and fills this gap at the open. Assuming we're still sitting here, this one feels like it's in. You see the downtrend and all that kind of good stuff. So 1 minute to go, everybody. Hope everyone had a fun afternoon. I already apologized for all of the names that I butchered in the chat and all that. The IPOs make it a long day. It ends up being worth it, but it is a very weirdly long day. Sitting down, sitting down for that long without getting up, staring at the screen, waiting for something to happen is trash.
It's not good.
It's worth it, but it still sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
I never enjoy it when it happens.
I can't wait to get outside. I'm going to go, regardless of the temperature, we're going to get a little bit of a run in here.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so I just like enjoying outside, and I can't wait for the temperature to start to uptick as well. So we're having a good day, guys. Everyone had a fantastic one. I mentioned that we'll do a quick review before the end of the day. This Bell, we had this Tesla, that was a good one there, and then the IBIT, which we're still holding up relatively strong here on IBIT, as that is the end of the session. 2 shorts was all we needed on this bad boy. Boom, 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 boom. So a good one, 3 for 4 on the day. Not going to complain whatsoever. Cerebras, I'm glad that once again everyone had the ability to take advantage of that one. Sharif, Neil, Adara, thank you. Fabian, thank you. Juan for coming in the chat.
Hello.
Obviously, Assassino, Brando. We don't know where Ramin is today, but hopefully she's having a good one.
No ram.
Today.
And
Bye, Jody.
Well, we had our good friend Day Trading Luis was in the chat.
Luis was in the chat today,
and a shout out to Mitch this morning.
Mitch
we had
Ho.
money. Mitch Ho coming through in the morning. Appreciate it. Of course, we'll probably see Michael tomorrow morning for sure. But you know what? Rest up. If you had, maybe you didn't have a long day. Maybe you just bought the market and sort of held it to the end of the day and didn't have to deal with any of that IPO nonsense. But it is still a lot of fun, and we're going to have even more tomorrow. Rest up. We'll come in the morning and cover all of the. Yeah, we have some earnings tonight. It's not anything too crazy
Nothing
that we
too crazy,
hang around for, but it should be interesting with Figma. And of course, day 2 on Cerebras should also be exciting. Just because we're still here, we are going to wrap up. But I just heard that AMAT just beat.
Oh,
so AMAT just beat on revenue by about 4%, 4.5%, 7.9 versus 7.6, and it's to the upside another 6%. Another great name and a great stock goes higher.
I was talking about Applied Materials not too long ago. I'm like, man, Applied Materials. Remember when we were doing our Mount Rushmore? Applied Materials, and we're talking about ASML.
Those are both great.
Yeah, exactly.
I might like one better, but it's still both great.
Exactly. So good stuff there, guys. I hope everyone had a fantastic one. Love to all. Bye, Jody. Bye, Blicky. Bye, Jesse. Bye, Gore. Bye, Los Pollos. Bye, everyone. Bye, Hangry Wife. Bye, Lemons Family. Bye, Farm Trader. Bye, MF Dangerous. Bye, everyone in the chat. It's the roll call. Rick Shaw. We'll see everyone. Why not? A guy from work. Adios, mi amigos. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Get outside. Enjoy the weather. Go for a run. Hit the gym. Do something.
Go for a walk. Do whatever you do.
Do something constructive. Enjoy it. We'll be back the exact same time tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
Or 8:01.
8:01.
7:59.
Ooh.
See you tomorrow.